So friends, today we are going to discuss the GST update or GST news flash for the last 2 weeks. So going forward also we are going to share or we are planning to share such updates regularly in few maybe in weekly or 2 weekly time. So let's start with our today's update. Uh, so our update we are going to divide into three parts. First, we are going to discuss about the procedure related to update. Then afterwards, we are going to discuss the update related to the case loss, so certain key cases issued. And last, we are going to discuss some news media related to the update. So let's start with our first procedure update. So as far as procedure under the GST law is concerned, key procedure update is related to the e-invoicing. So from 1st January 2021, e-invoicing is going to be applicable to all registered person or to registered person whose turnover in any of the preceding financial year from 1718 onwards exceeds the 100 crore. So if your turnover exceeds the 100 crore in any of the financial year from 1718, then e-invoicing is mandatory from the 1st January 2021. Now the question arises, who all are going to impact on account of this? So friends, everyone or every of the company is going to be impacted on account of this. You may aware that the above 500 crores or businesses having the turnover above 500 crore, e-invoicing is already made applicable from the 1st October itself. Now for 100 crores is going to be mandatory from the 1st January 2021. But all other taxpayer, irrespective of the turnover, should have to track whether their vendor, if their turnover exceeds 500 crore or 100 crore, their vendor has issued a proper tax invoice, and also agreement or that should cover. And why? Because you aware that the if you refer the section 16 to in section 16 to one of the condition for eligibility of ITC, you should possess the proper tax invoice. And unless and until your vendor, if that vendor is applicable or for that vendor invoicing is mandatory, and unless and until that vendor issue a tax invoice with QR code, one can say that the input tax credit could be challenged to you also, as you had availed that credit and you had utilized that credit. Thus, you should start discussion with your vendor related to the e-invoicing. Even we had recorded one of the video or one video wherein you get all the procedure with respect to e-invoicing or concept of the e-invoicing. You can go through that video also, so that you can understand the invoicing and how you can implement the invoicing within your organization. So this is related to the invoicing. Second key procedural update is related to the e-way bill. You should aware about that. The e-way bill is going to be blocked from the 1st December 2020, irrespective of the turnover, if your pendency of the return is for the 2 or more period. So, as a proactive taxpayer, if your any of the return is pending for the prior period, please file it immediately before 1st December, so that e-invoicing should not be blocked. And second, going forward, try that your GST return should be filed on time or regularly, and there should not be pendency for the 2 or more period. So friends, if e-way bill get blocked, it could affect the businesses, because not only you can't generate the definitely you can't generate the invoicing while moving the goods or supplying the goods, but also your vendor can't also generate the invoicing on with your GSTN or e-way bill with your GSTN. So it could affect the businesses, and hence you should start filing the return regularly. So government intention of blocking the e-way bill is definitely to regulate the return filing procedure, and it should be on regular track. But I think this provision can be constitutionally challenged, because many of the genuine taxpayer could impact because of this provision. And if GST law has some penal consequences, also late fee, also interest on for the delay in filing of the return. So only because of delay, one can not affect the businesses. So this can be challenged under the Article 19 4G of the Constitution. So we will definitely bet if someone will challenge this provision. Now, third procedural aspect is related to the time limit. So, if as far as time limit is concerned, even in last week, the certain due dates related to 3B1 has prescribed. Related to the ITC4, the due date is extended. So, for the period of July 20 to September 20, now the due date of ITC4. So, ITC4 form is related to the job work, and due date is now 30th November 2020 for the period July 20 to September 20. So these are some procedural or key updates related to the procedure. Now let's start with the update related to the key case law. So we are going to discuss only three cases. First is related to the, you may aware that the Gujarat High Court in the case of Kushal Limited has given a very welcome judgment wherein it is held that the in the absence of the pendency, so you can't attach the provisional or bank can't be attached provisionally under section 83 of the GST Act if in the absence of the pendency of the proceeding under section 62, 63, 64, 67, 73 and 74 of the GST Act. So if there is no pendency of the proceeding or in the absence of the pendency of the proceeding, provisional bank attachment should not be there. However, this decision is now challenged by the Union of India, or SLP, or SLP has been filed by the Union of India with the Apex courts. So now it's pending with the Apex Court. And recently, Apex Courts has aired the three-bench judgment. Three-judge bench has heard that case and has directed that the this cannot be followed, or this judgment cannot be followed in the other cases till the issue is finally answered or decided by the court. So this is given that this direction has recently given by the Apex Court. Definitely we all waiting for the judgment, as this could address the many of the issue. Also, we are as a taxpayer, we observe that the many of the taxpayers are facing the challenge of the bank attachment, even many times without issuing the notices, without any proper power. Authorities are attaching the bank account, and it many times affect the genuine taxpayer business also. So in such a cases, there should, on case-to-case basis, it is necessary to check the whether that power is with the authorities. How action we can take in such a cases can be checked. We will definitely wait for the Apex Court decision. Now we are going to discuss two advanced ruling cases which could be relevant to all of us. First is related to the principle of mutuality. So you all aware that the recently Kolkata, in the case of the Kolkata club, Apex Court has confirmed the principle of mutuality and said that the service tax should not be applicable to the cooperative society on account of principle of mutuality. Now the question arises whether this judgment is relevant for the GST era. So if you see the GST law, the GST law, the business definition under the GST law is very wide, and also the person includes the cooperative society also. Further, recently in the Advanced Ruling Authority, or even the Appellate Advanced Ruling Authority of Maharashtra, has upheld the decision of the Advanced Ruling Authority and held that the principle of mutuality is not applicable to the cooperative or principle of mutuality is not applicable under the GST law, as the liable and the cooperative society should be liable to GST, as the intention of the legislation or GST legislation is to do away with the principle of the mutuality. So in our view, there is a principle of the mutuality, and it's key for the cooperative society. So same person can't provide the services to himself. So this can be, however, this again, as discussed, this can, for the purpose of GST, we have to wait for the higher court judgment, and we can't rely on the Kolkata club, which is given in the erstwhile visa in the context of the service tax, because in GST law, the provisions are quite different than the service tax. Now, second advance ruling given by the Haryana Advanced Ruling Authority, and this is one of the worrisome advance ruling, one can say not a welcome advance ruling, because here in Haryana Advanced Ruling Authorities has decided that the free transport services provided by the employer to the employee and even though it's a without consideration, should be liable to GST. Now, the question arises whether each and every services provided by the employer to employer will be liable to GST. So friends, whatever services employer are providing to the employee are in the course of the employment and should not be liable to GST. However, one can this advanced ruling, one can say that the definitely going to affect many of the industry, and we have to answer the going forward, or if we had not paid the GST, we have to content or we have to answer to during the departmental audit. So these are certain key cases. Now the key, now we discuss about the key media related or key news in the media. So first is related to the tourism and hospitality sector. So friends, the Indian tourism and hospitality industry has put forth certain proposal for the Union Budget 21-22. And what are the GST related proposal? So as far as hospitality industry is concerned, they are saying that the GST should be reduced to 12%, and both option of 12% and 5% without ITC. So 12% with ITC, 5% with ITC should be made available to them. Second is related to the 7,500. The linkage, there should not be the linkage for the room tariff above 7,500 for the purpose of applicability of the rate. So these are the certain proposal put forth. As far as tourism sector is concerned, the GST on tour operator should be 1.8%, has been put forth before the Union Budget 21-22. So we have to wait for the Union Budget 21-22 and how this proposal or how the government consider this proposal, we will see. Now, last but not the least is related to the fake invoicing. So friends, related to the fake invoicing, almost more than 500 cases are so DGGI has booked more than 500 cases in the last week itself. So this is very much, one can say, not an good for the India, that the fake invoicing has reported in such a high manner. And second, major of the goods involved in these cases are related to scrap articles, iron, steel, copper, PVC, resin, then the ready-made garments, gold, silver, construction services. So these are the some of the goods or services which are involved in the fake invoicing cases. So one can say that the going forward, this industry could be under the review or the investigation from the government. Second, as far as fake invoicing concerns, sometimes the fake invoicing, government is tracking from the circular trading transaction. So one had sold the goods to other without movement of the goods and to other. So in the case of circular trading, there could be some of the genuine taxpayer who had actually received the goods, but they could got under the investigation on account of the party to the circular trading. So such a taxpayer should take some safeguards. So as a genuine taxpayer, you may not aware that the your vendor or your supplier is involved in the circular trading. So as a genuine taxpayer, you all should at least maintain the documentation as mentioned under Section 35 of the GST Act, and maintain that documentation related to the goods and services are received. So certain key steps, or one can say certain minor step, can help to prove your genuineness. If you are a genuine taxpayer and only because of circular trading, the investigation started on yourself. Second, there are certain penal consequences, and this all penal consequences, what are safeguard you should take. We had discussed in one of our article. We are providing the linkage of that article also. So you can go through that article also to get the more knowledge related to the fake invoicing. So these are the updates for the last 2 weeks related to the GST. So we'll meet for the next update, friends. So